Okay, guys. So yes, so we're going to be looking at edification and the three-way call. So like I said, these skills are very easy. They're very easy for you to learn and to practice, and they might seem silly. And sometimes, I remember beginning of my journey, when someone would edify me, I would like kind of inwardly cringe. It's very awkward to have someone like on a Zoom with a bunch of people or, in person to like be pouring your praises and you're just kind of sitting there like smiling. You know, it can be a bit awkward. So it does take some time to get used to, but it's such an important process, when it comes to when we host Zooms, when it comes to doing a three-way call, with your mentor. And there's a lot of reasons why. And we're going to start off with edification and why we actually do it. Okay. So again, notepads and pens should be ready. Make sure you're taking notes or taking screenshots. But I'm going to first of all tell you why we edify, right? What a good edification should do, right? But then also tips to edifying. So if you've never done a three-way call yet, especially if you're quite new, or you've never had to kind of edify your mentor, I'm going to give you kind of a little blueprint on what you should be doing. So, number one, a good edification should set the tone for a three-way call. If you have edified someone well enough, when your prospect gets on the call, number one, they should have immediate respect for that person, right? They've not even met them yet. They don't know who they're going to speak to. Well, they do because you've told them, but like, in terms of like seeing them, what they're going to look like, because it's of course the three-way call should be, in my opinion, should be on video so you can kind of see each other. Some people do it on the phone, but I like video. But there should be that immediate respect, right? Because you've edified them in such a way that they know they're about to meet someone who's, quite important, right? Quite important in this business. Your edification, if it's good enough, should also identify them as the expert, right? The reason you're getting them on the call with your mentor is because they're the expert in this business. And again, your prospect should feel totally comfortable coming on that call knowing that this person is going to have the answers to all their questions. If they've seen a presentation and they've had a few, they should know that this person is the one who's going to be capable of answering. And then lastly, indirectly, this is going to help your mentor close them because you've already given your mentor the authority. Again, if you've edified them well enough, right? As long as your prospects' questions get answered, like they should be closed. Okay, so this is what a good edification should do, right? And if you've done it well, it should hit, all four of those points. Now, when it comes to edifying your mentor, okay, how you're going to do it, number one, is you're just going to it's just giving positive facts or positive things about your mentor. Now, one key thing though, I've put in brackets, don't have it like all to do with money, right? So whenever you hear me edify Bells, right? Some of the time, like I don't even mention the fact that he's an Icon 100, right? I focus more on like maybe accolades that he's had, his attributes as a person, how many people he's helping. Okay, now if you're trying to close maybe a leader or somebody who's already been in network marketing, then yeah, talk about an Icon 100 makes a minimum 100,000 per month, right? Because then it really, really puts him up on a pedestal. But when you're giving the three facts, it shouldn't be like, oh, he makes this, and in trading, he makes this, and whatever. Okay. That part, it's good to add in, but it's not the important part. Okay. So edification points could include, the number of years that they've been trading. Okay. So if you've got a prospect who's obviously, super interested in learning how to trade, okay, so again, if I'm edifying Bells, I'm going to mention the fact that he has been trading for 7 years. Okay, so again, he's got that experience. Or just how long they've been in the industry in general. So again, if you've got a prospect who's maybe, interested in the network marketing side as well, I'm going to mention the fact that Bells has been trading for 7 years, but he's actually been in the network marketing industry for almost 11 years. Okay, because that's going to help with the edification. He has even more experience in the network marketing side. Okay, mention how many people they're helping. Okay, so if your upline is, a Prodigy 3K like Tama, I'm going to say, she's helping a minimum of 150 people within her community. right? If your upline is an influencer 900, they are helping a minimum, or I would probably actually say over, 40 individuals. Okay, we're gonna play around with the superlatives there. Okay, comment about their personality and their character. Okay, this part's really important as well. And this allows your prospect to start to kind of get to know your mentor. So whenever I edify Des, and I'm speaking about Des, I'm going to talk about, his heart. One of the things I, respect Des most for is what he's done in Ghana, right? He's taken the money he's made from this industry and built a school, right? He's giving back. So I'm definitely going to mention, right, Des's heart. That's part of his character. Okay, so there's a whole host of different things you could talk about. Whatever their intelligence, how organized they are, they're a servant leader. There's so many different things. Okay, but make it genuine. You're not going to lie about them. Make it a genuine compliment about your mentor's character, and then any accolades they've achieved. Okay, so it could be anything in the industry. So again, if I'm edifying Bells, I'm going to mention the fact that he's retired his mom. Within the first 5 years of his journey, he was able to retire his mom and move her back to Nigeria, right? That was one of his major whys. So it's something that, worth mentioning. It's a huge accolade. Okay, if I'm talking about Tama, right, I might talk about the fact that she actually hasn't had to work a job in 5 years. She's been able to completely retire because of what she's achieved in this industry. Okay, so again, I'm talking about accolades, and this is going to help that respect level, right? It shows them, number one, that these people know what they're talking about because they've got experience, but number two, they've actually achieved something concrete. Okay, so people can start to see that this industry works. And then lastly, just in terms of your tone, like how you're speaking, like if you're like, oh yeah, so Tama, she's my mentor and she's a Prodigy 3K, which means she's helping like 75 people. Oh, and yeah, she's actually been in the industry like 5 years. Like nobody's buying that. Okay, so just like a general tone of excitement and the fact that you get to work with your mentor. Okay, now something I didn't actually put on here, which I should have. If you're relatively new affiliate, and even you might have met your mentor on TikTok, right? You might have met them on Instagram. Maybe you actually are just kind of getting to know them. It's okay to message your mentor and say, hey, what are 3 things you would like me to say about you to edify you? Your mentor is not going to get offended by that, right? We're used to that. So if I'm working with someone new, I will actually send my mentee edification points. Okay, because they don't know me yet. They've started to get to know me. They've started to work with me. But yeah, definitely don't be shy to just say, hey, what are 3 things you'd like me to say about you, when I'm edifying you. Okay, so that is it for edification. Now I'm going to go through a few more examples, but I mean, it's not hard, right? It's putting giving your mentor respect, right? And that's basically it, right? That's the goal, right? To show them that respect, because they're now going to get on a call with your prospect, right? And help you close them. Okay, that's of course the goal. So when it comes to edifying, now I'm talking about this a lot for a 3-way call, because we're going to go into that next. But you also start to need to learn some nuances. And I call it the reverse edification. And you will probably notice, okay, once you've edified your mentor, they're going to edify you back. Okay. And if you've ever been on any of our team calls, right, if I am hosting, for example, I've just edified Bells or I've just edified Des, right? The first thing they do is they hand it back to the person. So you actually have to get quite good at knowing your people so you can edify them back. Okay, so if I'm, the mentor, I've just been edified. Okay, I'm going to turn around and say, thank you so much, Tama, for the introduction. I'm actually super proud of your journey so far. You've really come in. You've been working so hard. And I don't know if she told you, but she actually made like $100 last week. It was like her first week live trading, whatever, right? You should know your people enough that you can kind of comment on what they've achieved so far. Okay, so this isn't something as a new affiliate you need to know right now, but it's definitely something that you want to start paying attention to. Okay, so the respect is not just all about the mentor. They're not just there to get a big head and you talk about how amazing they are, right? They're going to throw it straight back to you. Okay. Now, again, I think I've just said that, right? This is a good thing to notice. And once you become the mentor and you start to do your own three-way calls, you need to be able to hand it back to your mentee. Now, again, things to reverse edify, because if you're edifying someone back, it's probably on a three-way call, they're probably quite new, right? If they are a new affiliate. So again, you might want to comment on their learning growth, maybe how long they've been in the company so far, maybe what you've seen about them that's impressed you, right? So if I'm looking on this call right now, I mean, we've only merged with groups with David the last couple weeks, but someone, let's say Denicia, right? I've seen Denicia, I know she's quite new, on like every single one of my calls, right? So if I'm getting on a call with one of Denicia's prospects, I'm going to mention that. I'm going to mention the fact that she's so dedicated. She doesn't miss a single Zoom, right? She took her first, I think she had a US 30 profit today because I'm paying attention, right? You have to pay attention to your people. Okay, pay attention to what people are doing. See, Denicia, I pay attention. Okay, so things like that, right? Comments on their growth. Maybe how much they've made trading. So if you've had a conversation, I don't know if Paige is on the call, right? She's usually on quite a lot, but if I'm edifying or reverse edifying Paige, right? Paige regularly makes between like 700 to 1,000 a week through her funded accounts, right? She's a nurse, right? I think she makes more trading than she does in her nursing. Okay. So, those are kind of things that we want to tell. They're success stories. And then lastly, it's easy to comment about someone's character, about their personality. What do you like about them? They're super fun to work with. They're always smiling. Tama has her camera on for every Zoom, like just such a happy face to see, whatever, right? Just comment something nice about them. Okay. Now, edification is then also an important skill if you're going to host a call. Okay. You will hopefully eventually be in a position where you've built yourself up to a high enough rank, you've grown your leadership that you start to get asked to host, right? So, let's say the free trial we just did, obviously, Belle's asked me to host that Thursday night call. And that's something that you guys, you want to get to. Again, it sounds kind of like, well, for some people, it might be terrifying, right? Maybe, public speaking isn't your thing. Okay, but hosting a call is actually a really big deal, and it's going to really push you out of your comfort zone, especially if you've never done it before. Okay, if you're asked to do a testimonial, okay, all of those kind of things. Okay, but if you're asked to host a team call, you have to be able to edify the speaker. Because when you're edifying the speaker on a Zoom, the attendees have to have a level of respect, whether it's prospects, so brand new people to this business, or whether it's existing customers and you're introducing someone for a training. And you have to get so good at edifying that you can do it on the fly, because you never know. Again, as a leader, the bigger you grow, the more leadership qualities you display, you might get just randomly pulled in from your mentor. Okay, I want you to do this call. You're going to host. It's in 10 minutes. You're edifying me. Get on. Okay, so you need to be able to edify on the fly without any sort of preparation. Okay, because you never know when you're going to need it. And one of my top tips for this, the better you are at building relationships, the better you're going to be at this. Okay. So, like I just mentioned with Denicia, like I pay attention to people who come on the Zoom, right? I know the people who are plugged in my team. I know the people now who are in David's team. I know people who are plugged in. Okay. But I'm also intentional about building relationships with people within my team, especially with my affiliates, right? So if I had to jump on a call with Zalema right now, I could edify Zalema. I've built a relationship with Zalema, right? If I had to jump on a call and edify Shell, I could edify Shell because I've built a relationship with Shell, right? The more people you can build relationships with, the better you're going to be at this, right? So I'm going to pick on a couple people. I told you guys to get on your toes, right? You got to be ready. So I'm going to pick on Tama because Tama has her camera on. So Tama, I want you to come on, and on the fly, I want you to edify me. We've been working together for a while, so you should be able to edify me. Let's hear it.
No pressure, no pressure. Evening, guys. Guys, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So I would probably say, um, hey, Joe Blogs, I just want to connect you with my business partner that I've worked and mentor that I've worked really, really closely with over the last couple of years. I've known Shannon for about 4 years now. And we've really gotten a lot closer since we've been a part of this company. She has got 2 years experience within this company, and she's actually been able to retire herself. She was a teacher. And she has been able to be very instrumental in helping over 750 people make an online income. Now, I don't really lead with how much people make, but what she has been able to do in the space of 2 years is so impressive. She has now become a six-figure earner, bringing in at least $9,000 a month. And Shannon's my business bestie. She is my go-to. She is my accountability partner. And one thing that I really love about her is her heart. She is such a servant leader and has got such a heart for helping others. So she's really a great asset, somebody to be connected to. And, if you want the results, you've got to listen to the people that have got them.
Okay, guys, drop some 111s or 777s in the chat box. Okay, that's how you edify, right? On the fly. She didn't need to prepare. Okay, obviously, we've been working together closely for a long time, but you'll have done this so much that those kind of, that conversation, that edification, becomes natural, right? And of course, if that's on a three-way call, I'm then going to turn around and I'm going to hand it straight back to Tama. Okay, let's pick on one more person. Who else is on here? Who else is on here? Not to edify me though, because that was just done. Let's pick on Zalema. Zalema, are you in a position to come on? And I'll get you to edify. I'll get you to edify Des, because obviously you've been working with Des. So Zalema, are you in a position to? I put you like right on the spot. No camera on. Are you in a position to talk?
Yes, I'm in the
There we
position to
go.
talk.
Okay, put you right on the spot. You're starting a three-way call.
I
You're
think you would
edify
have
Des.
been easier.
What's that?
I think you would have been easier.
I would have been, but I'm really
Yeah,
stretching you here, Zalema.
I
I'm a
know. Well,
mentor. I
thank you
gotta
for
stretch
that.
you, right?
Icon training. Here we go. Well, what would I say? Um,
So start as if it's a conversation, okay, so and so, like Daphne, I'd like to introduce you to my mentor. So start as if you're starting a three-way call.
I'm removing myself from this room. I'm waking up the baby. Yeah. So yeah, Daphne, this is the coach I'm going to bring is my coach, the one I have been able to work with for the past year that I have come into this industry. And honestly, I cannot be more grateful for this opportunity to work with him. He has been a teacher. He has been writing books, motivational books. He has been he's a six-figure earner right now in the industry, not only by training, but also with the network marketing business. So he's my go-to person. I call him the king of nuggets because if you need something from him, he will always give you something that you don't even know that you need. And it's really inspiring. So I can only say that I have become the person that I am in this business, being able to do calls and to trade and to have a mindset just because he feeds me with everything that I need in this industry. He is doing calls, back-to-back calls. Whenever you need him, I don't know if he ever sleeps, basically, because if you text him, he's always there to answer. If you need him for whatever call you need within the business, so a business overview to tell you, just like what you are going to hear right now in this call, he will give you every single detail from the industry that you need for you to be a profitable trader within the financial market. Even if you don't know anything about this world, about this industry, he will give you everything that you need. So I am gladly to introduce you to my coach. Don't worry. You can ask him all the questions that you have, and I will guarantee you that you will be planted into this industry like successfully.
There we go. Wow, wow, wow. In the words of Mr. Des.
Wow, wow, wow. Right.
Wow, wow. Right. Amazing. So, guys, those great edifications. Zulema, well done. You did me proud. I put you right on the spot. But yeah, guys, so that's you can hear the tone, even with both of them, the tones in their voices, right? You can hear that kind of respect level. And they were able to give, if you're just working with the person, don't worry if you can't speak that much about your mentor, because you might have only just started working with them. Okay. But the importance is, how it's delivered, how it's said with respect, excitement, and then you're going to pass it over. Okay. So, guys, that's the edification. Super, super simple. Now, when it comes to the three-way call, okay, so you will start off, okay, if you're a new affiliate and you're getting your mentor on a three-way call to close your prospects. And again, if you are new, don't feel like you should be doing this by yourself. In fact, you shouldn't be doing this by yourself because you are new, okay? You need to learn, but also usually in the beginning, when you're trying to close someone, it's probably your warm market, okay? And I touched on this a bit when we were doing lists, but if this is your auntie or your cousin or Joe Blow from high school or, whatever, okay? They trust you, they know you, but there might not be that level of respect when it comes to business. Because, let's say, obviously, I'm a teacher. So if I'm trying to close my best friend and say like, oh, I'm going to make 6 figures trading, but right now I'm only making $5 a day, it's going to be very difficult for me to sign up someone I know and someone I'm close to. Okay. So don't feel like, oh, maybe I'm not good at this because people keep saying no. No, just use your mentor as leverage. That's what they're there for. Okay. So steps to this three-way call, very, very simple. Okay. As the mentee, there's only 3 things you need to do. Number 1 is, of course, the hellos, hey, this, da, 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 the pleasantries. And then, of course, you're going to introduce your mentor. Now, I've put there, you should have edified them before the call, right? So what Tama just said, what Zulema just said, you should actually be telling this to your prospect, like kind of right before you're going to get on the call with them. So what I would normally do, right, is I would call whoever my prospect is. Let's say whatever, my prospect's Tama. I call Tama. Hey, okay, so we have our call with Bells in 5 minutes. Just wanted to kind of give you a quick rundown, and then you do your edification, right? You don't need to do that whole kind of edification on the phone in front of your mentor. Okay, if you were hosting a call, yes. Okay, but you edify your mentor before the call. So when you get on the call, all you're doing is introducing your mentor to your prospect. Okay, so Tama, this is Bells. This was the person I was speaking to you about. I'm super excited that he's actually had time to kind of get on this call with us because he has all the answers. So I'm not even going to say much. I'm just going to pass it over to Bells. Bells, then number 2, introduce your prospect. This is my good friend Tama. We've actually known each other for the last 4 years, and give a bit of context for your mentor. Okay, it might be you work with them or your childhood friends or, whatever. They're your auntie, your sister. Okay, give a bit of context, but then also give your prospect a compliment, right? So I might say, yeah, I've been working with Tama actually for 4 years. She's super entrepreneurial, very, very driven, right? So I think she'd do amazing in this business because I know how much, she loves to grind, right? Whatever. Okay, so, she has, if I'm talking about Zulema, she has a beautiful baby girl, right, who's actually 5 now, attitude of a teenager, but I know, she really, really wants to give her the best life possible, right? So just something sort of personal so that your mentor is starting to get to know your prospect, okay? Then you're going to pass over to your mentor and mute yourself, okay? Mute yourself. Your mentor is going to take care of the whole rest of the call. So you as the mentee, those are the 3 simple steps you're doing. You start the call. It should take you no more than like a couple minutes, and then it's straight over to your mentor. Now, tips for this call. Number 1, never interrupt. Okay. Even if your mentor says something wrong, like maybe they say the gold pack is only $100, right? super wrong, right? Hopefully they wouldn't make that mistake. But if they say something slightly off, just wait until after, right? And when you're speaking to your prospect, like, oh, I think they misspoke. They actually meant to say this, right? So you're not discrediting your mentor on the call. Only speak if you're asked a question. Okay. So if your mentor asks you something, if your friend directly asks you something, okay, and Bells always makes this joke, or to laugh at your mentor's joke. So if your mentor says something, even if it's cheesy, ha ha ha, little courtesy laugh, doesn't go amiss, right? And then you want to close the call. So at the end, once your mentor has handled everything they need to handle, you be the one to close the call by thanking your mentor for their time, right? So, Bells, thanks so much. I massively appreciate you getting on with Tama. I know, she's just had all of her questions answered. So thanks so much for that. And then I put at the bottom there, agree to an outcome. So depending on how the call went, right, and how the conversation went, one of the outcomes might be, Tama, I'm gonna call you straight after and I'll walk you through the setup steps. Whatever the outcome of the call is, or okay, Tama, cool, I'm gonna call you on Monday when you get paid and I'm gonna walk you through the steps. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, so that is your job as a new affiliate. Now, I also want to cover, because I'm very aware of the fact that we do have, 1500s, 3Ks on this call as well. And if you've been building offline, or maybe you've kind of been building, kind of on your own up till now, you maybe have never done a 3-way call. And as the mentor, you need to start. Okay, you really want to implement this into your business. So I've put there at the top, hopefully by the time you become the mentor, you will have seen how this is done, right? Because when you were a mentee and you were getting, your mentor to close prospects, you've been hearing them make these calls over and over, right? So when I first started building, right, I think maybe my first 4 or 5 people, Bells did a 3-way call for me, right? And they were my warm market, friends, whatever. So I had heard Bells doing 3-way calls multiple times, and I'm just sitting there listening because I'm not talking. Okay, so hopefully at this point you kind of see some tips and tricks, things that your mentor does to kind of help close customers. Okay, but if you haven't, here's the steps as the mentor, because as the mentor, you have the heavy lifting, right? You're answering the questions, you're handling objections, you're trying to close this customer. Okay, so step 1 from the mentor side, after the introductions, okay, your prospect is just, your mentee has just introduced you to their prospect, told you a bit about their prospect. So you're now going to straight off reverse edify your new affiliate, reverse edify your mentee. Tama, yeah, thanks so much for arranging this call. Like, super proud of your journey so far. You've done whatever. Okay, I'm going to say some nice things about Tama. Then number 2, you want to get straight to getting to know the prospect. Okay. And this just helps get them a bit more comfortable. You're not going to go straight into the money, right? You're not going to go straight in. So you ready to sign up? No. Right. You want to build a relationship. So, oh, hey, where are you from? Oh, yeah. Like, whatever. If they're in the UK, they're close by, those pleasantries. What do you do? Right. So you can start to kind of get a feel, of the kind of industry they're in, or maybe the kind of customer they would be. Right? If they're going to be someone who's maybe going to be super, super busy. So you can start to already kind of mentally prepare for some of the objection handling you might have to do. Okay. And you're just here, just building that relationship, right? Just easing into it, getting to know them a bit. Okay. But after you've done that, like, don't spend an hour, having a chin wag with this person's prospect. So after you've asked a few questions, you've got to know them a bit, then get to the point. Right now, for me, one of the things I usually say is, oh, so, Tama's told me she's sent you one of my videos, because, like, let's say if I've got a YouTube video, or, Tama's told me that you were actually on Dez's business overview on Monday, whatever the case may be, however they've seen the information. Okay, I would say, you've seen the overview. Do you have any questions for me? Like, I'm getting straight to it. We're on a 3-way call because they probably do have questions. Okay, now, there's going to be a whole separate call on objection handling, because people have whole hosts of objections. So we are going to do a call on that. But your job now as the mentor, number 1, you're not here to kind of sell anyone anything. You're here to give them as much information as possible so that they can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to join economy. Okay. So you don't need to, get your back up if they say, well, I've heard that economy is a scam. Okay, cool. Where'd you read that? Oh, that's very, very interesting. Now, I've been in the company for 2 years. I've met the CEO. We've had dinner. Whatever. I'm going to say the things I know about the company, and then I might just say, well, what about the company do you think is a scam? Because usually when people have those kind of objections, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's usually through ignorance. And ignorance is simply like, you don't know what you don't know, right? So people might have a misconception that Forex is a scam, but they don't know that actually their banks are trading their money every single day. They don't know that when they go to a foreign exchange in the airport and exchange their money, they're participating in the foreign exchange market. Okay, so you want to come at it from like a neutral place, okay? But answer all of their questions. Whatever questions they have, it might be whatever, how much it is. It might be, what do I get with the Elite Pro pack, or what do I get with the Gold pack? They might ask you which package you would suggest, right? Loads of different things. But after every question they ask you, after you've answered fully, you say, do you have any more questions, or are you ready to get started? After every single one. It doesn't matter how many questions they have. You might be on the 10th question. You've just answered. You say, okay, cool. Do you have any more questions, or are you ready to get started? Okay. Now, this is where you then need to close the call. And again, you want to close it with an outcome. Okay. And there's going to be three different kinds of prospects. If you guys have ever listened to Justin Owens, he kind of categorizes people into three different sectors, right? Now, there's going to be a small portion of the population who will get on this call. They might ask one question and say, okay, cool. How do I start? Okay. That's the easiest outcome, right? So if they're ready to get started right then and there, you say, okay, Tama, if you just pop, Kelsey, your link, Kelsey, Tama's going to call you straight after this. She's going to walk you through the setups. Can't wait to see you in the group chat, and I'll, talk to you guys soon. And you end the call, right? Tama's now going to go ahead. She's going to sign up Kelsey, done and dusted. Okay. That's a small percentage, right? A small percentage of people who are going to be ready like immediately. Now, you might have another person who's a little bit more hesitant. Maybe they've asked tons of questions. These are your greens, right? We're also going to do a training on personality types, okay? But your greens, your urchins, they need to know every minute detail of this entire company, front, back. They might take a month to make a decision. Okay, so if you're getting an inkling, that's this kind of person. They've asked loads of questions. Then arrange, and I put there second, arrange another exposure. Okay, say, okay, do you know what? I'm actually having another business overview on Thursday that I personally am going to be hosting, right? Kelsey or Tama, I don't know who I said was the prospect, but Tama, right? Why don't you send Kelsey the link? Kelsey, get on, get your notepad and pen. I'm going to go through the information again. And the second time round, that might clarify, get a bit more clarity in your mind, make sure they've got something else that can expose them. So for example, last week was the free trial. That would have been a great place to put all your greens because they saw everything, right? They saw how we took trades. They got a bit of education. They were able to take signals. They were able to get on live calls. Okay. Arrange another exposure. If there's oh my goodness, if there's an event in person coming up, okay? Or if it's just a case of, they're super, super keen, but they need to wait till they get paid. Or they might end the call. It doesn't matter how good you were. Doesn't matter how amazing your answers were. They might simply end by saying, I need to think about it a bit more. Okay. So your last solution might be, okay, Tama, why don't you follow up with Kelsey in a few days? Once she's had a chance to think about it, maybe she'll have had a few more questions, and then we can come back to it in a few days. Or oh, you get paid on the 15th. Amazing. So Tama, I want you to get that in your diary. Follow up with Kelsey on the 15th. We'll get you started, and can't wait to see you in the group chat. Okay. Those are pretty much the only 3 outcomes for the most part in all the times I've been doing 3-way calls that you're going to get. You're going to get people that are super keen. They'll sign straight away. You're going to get people who are still a bit on the fence. They just maybe need another exposure, another bit of information. So you give them some alternatives. Or you're going to have people by the end who might kind of out and out say, yeah, not sure. I'm just going to think about it. Okay, just, leave them be. There's nothing you can say. Okay, but if you can get the person to sign up on the call, do, right? So in the first instance, if they're ready, right, Tama, send Kelsey your link. Let's get this started. Okay, first thing you're going to do, put in your email address, get that process going for them. Okay, but you can also offer them places for research. Okay, maybe send them another business overview. Maybe send them the economy Instagram so they can see social proof, right? Economy, we've just been on a world tour. So there's so many exciting videos on that Instagram right now that they could be going through. They just went through South America. They were in Africa. They were, all over the place. Okay, so those are kind of some solutions as well that you can offer the prospect. Okay, so guys, I told you this call wasn't going to be too long. Okay, we did that in about 35 minutes. Okay, the importance of edification, how to run a 3-way call if you are the mentee. Okay, what you need to do, steps you need to take, how you need to edify your mentor. But also for those of you who are already mentors, if you've not been doing this, implement this into your business, and I promise you it's going to help, right? Especially for your new affiliates who are getting their, first couple signups, you're trying to get them to apprentice. This is really, really going to help. Okay. So guys, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Not overly complicated, these 2 skills, edification and the 3-way call. But obviously, if you get them right, the more you practice, the better you become, right? The better of a closer you're going to be. Okay, the better of a closer you are going to be. So I don't see any questions in the chat box. So I am actually going to stop there for the evening, right? You guys are going to we're done 20 minutes early. We're usually about an hour. So yeah, I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your evening. Friday, of course, we have another Icon mentorship session. This Friday is going to be with the one and only David Hunt. I can't off the top of my head remember the topic, but of course they're always important. Okay, so if you're really kind of pushing for Icon, if you're pushing for 6 figures in the next 6 months, every single call is going to have a different skill or a different topic or different whatever that's going to be important to your journey. Okay, so thank you guys. I hope you all have a phenomenal rest of your evening. Take care. Bye.